Every year, more than 2 million tons of wool are produced worldwide. Australia is the largest producer of wool, followed by China and New Zealand. But do you know how wool is produced? Watch this video to see all the stages of production of this widely used product around the world. Wool is a raw material with excellent qualities. It is one of the most popular and widely used fibers globally. It is characterized by being soft and curly. Wool fabric is durable, wrinkle-resistant, and holds its shape well. It absorbs moisture and insulates against both cold and heat. That's why wool is ideal for clothing like sweaters and coats. Wool also offers great natural resistance to dirt, and when it gets dirty, it's very easy to clean. It has excellent elasticity, resistance to friction, abrasion, and flammability. Sheep's wool has been produced for centuries. Historians believe that humans began raising sheep for food and clothing about 10,000 years ago. In 1797, the United Kingdom sent 13 sheep to Australia, starting what is now the largest wool industry in the world. In Australia, sheep have been sheared since the early 19th century. At that time, everything was done by hand, with shears and a lot of sweat from the Australian workers. Today, they rely on electric machines. And with more than 78 million sheep in the country, the process is long and quite delicate, starting with the breeding and management of the sheep flock. Obtaining sheep's wool continues with shearing. Often it's the breeder himself who performs this task, but on farms there is usually a team of specialists. It's crucial to have knowledge and master the technique to do the job efficiently and quickly, without hurting the animal. When all the wool is removed from the sheep's body, a physiological response is triggered, increasing its heat production, and the sheep start to consume more food. This directly contributes to their good nutritional status and well-being. Shearing is done once a year during the warmer months and can take place in the spring or early summer. Shearing can stress the sheep, so the team follows strict protocols such as lifting the animals by their legs, not by their wool, and returning them to food and water as quickly as possible. On a good day, an average shearer can shear about 140 sheep. The best shearers can shear up to 200 sheep. First, they remove the wool from the belly, which is thicker. Then the goal is to shear the rest in a single piece. Experienced shearers do the job in less than 2 minutes per animal. Armed only with an electric shearing machine, the machine's head has a 96mm wide comb with a sharp moving blade at the tip. It looks like a hairdresser's tool, but there's a fundamental difference. Hair clippers have small built-in motors, while sheep shearing machines are powered by powerful electric motors connected to the handle by a tube. This makes the handle light and prevents it from heating up. Shearing must be done gently. The goal is always to cut in a single pass and very close to the skin, to remove all the wool in one piece, known as the fleece. Each sheep can produce between 2 kilos of fine wool and up to 3 kilos of coarse wool. The fleece of sheep has an oily protective layer that contains a substance called lanolin, or wool grease. When the shearer finishes with a sheep, the wool handlers step in to collect the fleece and prepare it for shipping. The problem is that freshly shorn wool contains dead skin and unwanted short pieces of wool. The solution is to place it with the skin side down on a table with slats that are 4 centimeters wide. The space between the slats allows most of the debris to fall to the ground, but the edges of the wool still contain dirt and sweat. That's why before it leaves the table, workers clean it, removing the outer parts. Next, the wool is sorted according to its shade. The quality of the wool is mainly determined by the fineness of the fibers. The finer and softer they are, the better the quality. These are used for high-end products such as merino wool clothing. Coarser fibers are intended for rustic or industrial uses, such as carpet manufacturing. After sorting, the wool may still contain dirt, natural oils, and other contaminants, which must be removed to make it clean and ready for processing. Washing is done to clean the fibers and improve their quality. After being washed, the wool is taken to a giant press that compresses it into bales of up to 200 kilos. Meanwhile, the freshly shorn flock returns to the pastures, with each sheep 6 kilos lighter and ready to endure another 12 months. The wool arrives at the factory in compressed bales. The factories receive about 8,000 kilos of freshly shorn wool every day. The first step with the new batch is to dye it with one of the thousands of colors used in the fabrics. The workers place about 150 kilos of fleece in a steel basket, where a hydraulic press uses pressure and water to compact it. This allows for dyeing a larger quantity at once and saving resources. A quick spin cycle removes most of the water, but the wool is still quite damp, so it goes to the dryer, a gigantic microwave used to eliminate the remaining moisture. As the wool heats up, the water evaporates and is sucked out by an internal vacuum system. At this stage, the wool looks like hair that has never been brushed. Before it becomes yarn, it needs to be untangled, which happens in the carding machine. The wool goes through more than 100 rollers of various sizes, which basically brush it. Each roller is covered with thousands of tiny metal wires. Carding is the process that aligns the fibers and removes tangles or unwanted materials, preparing the wool for the next step. Spinning. These metal wires pull the wool through the machine, brushing all the fibers in the same direction like a huge comb. Next, the goal is to turn the fiber into yarn. For this, the wool is twisted until it reaches the desired thickness and the proper strength. As the threads pass through the machine, the spindle twists each of them at least 4 times per inch. The more twisted it is, the stronger the yarn becomes. The twisted yarn is wound onto spools called bobbins. Each bobbin is actually a long twisted thread, ready to become fabric. It all starts in the weaving room. Wool fabric is basically made up of 2 elements: a vertical thread called the warp and a horizontal thread called the weft. The intersection between the warp and the weft creates the basic pattern of the fabric. Once ready, the wool textile products are prepared and packed for transport and distribution. Attention! And that was today's video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel.